Sup everyone, I'm Sloan the Otaku, and I'm here to discuss the underrated fantasy Netflix original cartoon, Hilda. Based on the graphic novels and directed by the author of those novels, Hilda is about a girl who loves adventuring in and out of the city Trollberg. A lot of people have compared it to Gravity Falls and Over the Garden Wall, which are really solid comparisons. While Hilda isn't anywhere near as funny as those two, it does have the same dark fantasy vibes, with a lot of heart and fun scenarios. I would say Season 1 is more like Over the Garden Wall, as most of the episodes are spooky and sometimes creepy, while Season 2 is more like Gravity Falls, in which it's a more lighthearted mystery fantasy series, but is serious when it needs to be. The first arc of Hilda really starts off strong. We see Hilda doing her usual thing in the wilderness, and we get to see all the wonderful creatures. But with all the wonder comes darkness, as Hilda and her mother Joanna are attacked in their home. I don't want to spoil the entire arc in case you want to see it for yourself, but by the end, it teaches a very important lesson on how someone's ignorance can affect others. You could be a really kind-hearted person, but being blind to an issue may cause more damage than you realize. This was something I've never seen tackled before, and honestly blew me away. But this isn't the only thing that's impressive about the writing. Small things mentioned in episodes past get brought up later that turn out to be game-changing for the characters and the story. I love the twists on classic mythical creatures, like the elves and giants, as well as adding lesser-known beings like the Nesse, or newer ones like woofs. Woffs? It's woffs, yeah. Hilda basically created its own lore, and I love seeing more of it. There are even a few episodes that are sci-fi based, which were handled really well. And this is coming from a person who thinks that sci-fi and fantasy don't mix. The one problem I had with Hilda Season 1 was Hilda herself. Don't get me wrong, she's super fun and incredibly brave. However, Hilda never got punished for her reckless behavior. We're all used to shows and cartoons having kids do things they're not supposed to do. They usually don't learn from their mistakes and repeat everything in the next episode. But with those series, the parent will usually stand up and say that they're grounded or no TV for a week or something. Even though we never see that punishment play out, it's important to give that nod so that actual children know that there are consequences for their actions. With Season 1, there are many situations in which Hilda was clearly in the wrong, and her mother had a right to be angry with her. But then it was all tossed out the window, and the episode ends with a "let's get some snacks, kids, woo!" type of ending. At times, this aspect of Hilda really frustrated me, especially since it's a series with a lot of character development for its side characters. Thankfully, Season 2 came and fixed this. It took a while, but that's because they were building up to Joanna's eventual outburst. You can tell she was trying to give Hilda a chance to own up to her mistakes, but after 7 episodes with no progress, Joanna finally put her foot down. Could this have happened sooner? Absolutely. But I guess that's where an actual child needs to differentiate fiction from reality. Moving on, though. Season 2 is better in every way possible. If I had to knock it down for something, it would be that there are too many insert song montages. Unlike Season 1, there was an insert song in every episode and sometimes 2 to 3 montages. Definitely a little overboard, but I like the music, so I gave it a pass. I definitely have to talk about Episode 8 when Hilda was at the lounge. We get this 2-minute scene of inaudible dialogue, but thanks to the power of animation, aka show don't tell, we got a super adorable meet-cute love story that kept me smiling throughout. It was exceptionally well done, so major props to everyone who worked on that scene in particular. The voice acting was also bumped up to 11 in the second season, my favorite being with the Witch Council, and one which in particular freaking out over the void. Literal chills. Episode 3 was one of my favorites, which I know most of you are rolling your eyes, cause it's a witches theme episode and I'm obsessed with witches. But still, I thought an underground society of witches was awesome, and it was so cool discovering all the labyrinths. We also got to learn more about the librarian, aka Kaisa, who is the literal definition of a modern witch, and I love her for that. Kaisa best girl. Plus, it's when Frida decides to become a witch. Like, come on, you can't beat that. Except you can with Episode 8. We got major character development for Hilda. Even though she was grounded, Hilda still went out and did things her way. By the end of the episode, she finally realizes that even though she had good intentions, there truly are consequences for her actions. Also, we saw like 4 deaths. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, Hilda can get pretty dark sometimes. You'll see legit stabbings and people getting eaten. Sometimes they'll turn it into a joke, but other times it can be pretty serious. Just beware in case you're showing Hilda to your 5-year-old cousin. It's not like you see blood or anything, but I feel Hilda would be better understood by an 8-year-old rather than a toddler. Have you seen Hilda? Who are your favorite characters, and why is it the Woodman?
You can't hide from me.
I'd like to give a very special shout out to Sarah Hogan for donating to my Patreon. If you'd like to get a very special shout out in the next video, stream, or what have you, then please click on the Patreon link in the description to donate, as well as links to my social media. I'm Slim the Otaku. Sayonara!